Hi, so I am so thrilled to bring you this episode with Steve Kragenbrink from Woods Humane Society. We recorded this episode before the holidays, and I'm really excited to get it to you. He is an absolute treasure, and he's so dear to so many of us in San Luis Obispo and beyond. So take a listen and understand why he is such an incredible super connector, connecting, like he says, four-legged friends with two-legged companions, and just bask in how he is so easily guiding us to a kinder life with these sweet little fur babies out at the animal shelter. Um, have fun. Enjoy. Hey friends, today's episode is brought to us by my friend Shelly from Tails Pet Boutique in San Luis Obispo. It's right downtown near Bubblegum Alley, and they're neighbors with Ambiance. Shelly has an amazing business, and if you go into her business with your pet, they will happily greet you guys with treats for your little fur baby, and you should totally sign them up for their birthday program. They'll get a special little treat on their birthday or adoption day, and their Instagram feed is filled with all these adorable dogs with the owner pulling the cookie up, and it says, "Happy birthday, Coco," and then they bring it down to the dog's mouth, and the dog's licking and happily jumping and wagging and eating up their birthday cookies. They also have a food reward program. If you're buying food from them, they'll give you discounts, and it's really good pet food over there. They won from the New Times the best place to pamper your pet. So if you want to give your fur baby some love, they deserve it, and you should go see her at Tails. She also owns Doggy Salon and Spa in town, so totally bounce over there too. In addition to having an amazing store downtown, she's also doing a lot of good in town. And it's funny, I'm connecting with all these kind-hearted people, and they're not really working in silos. They're all kind of connected to each other. So one of my upcoming guests is Dr. Rhonda Beeman from the Dream Makers. And Shelly is helping out the Dream Makers with fundraising by donating goods. And she's connected to our guest this week, Steve Kragenbrink, because they got together and did marketing for the Woods Wiggle Waggle Walkathon event together. She also pairs with Woods to do little kitten pop-ups. So she's helping Steve try and bring animals and people together in San Luis Obispo County and bring joy to both of their lives. So thank you, Shelly, for all that you do. I just adore you, and I hope everyone listening will bring business your way and like you on Facebook, like you on Instagram, and sign their pets up for your awesome birthday program. Their cookies and treats are gorgeous, by the way. We got our Otis dog cookies on his birthday, and they were very Instagrammable and good for them too. Okay, thanks, Shelly, for your support. Hello, hi, fans of kindness. Thanks for joining in. Today I'm here with Steve Kragenbrink of Woods Humane Society. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
Hey, do you want to tell me what your title is and what you do at Woods?
Sure. I'm the Director of Community Programs and Marketing out at Woods. And basically what I do is try to facilitate as many adoptions for as many animals as possible from the shelter, and then try to inspire folks to get involved with our fundraising, our activities, raising money for the animals, and kind of getting together and creating an animal welfare community in San Luis Obispo County.
Yeah, I hear you on all the local radio stations, pretty much all of them. I bounce around from the classic rock to the country station to the rock station, and you're all over the place, and it's like so neat to hear you speak in addition to like your website. Just like hearing you bring the animals and talk about them are so amazing, and you are so gifted at it. I was like curious if your school gave you those skills. Like did you go to school to be a publicist for Woods, or did you have a roundabout way of getting to Woods?
I think I definitely had a roundabout way of getting there. My education and background is more in design and communications, so there is a little bit of a connection there. My past history, I've owned a lot of nightclubs. I used to live up in San Francisco, and I was a promoter up there, and moving to town, 15, 16 years ago, and then in a roundabout way, ending up at Woods one day and just kind of bringing my resume, and I've done a lot of work in kitchens That's one of the things I sometimes admit. But yeah, and then just kind of coming around, and I've always had a real passion for public speaking. I love, group psychology. I love public speaking, and I think that's kind of what pushed me in this direction. And then it's just a perfect fit with the shelter, just because I'm very passionate about animals, and empathy is really important to me. So any opportunity that I have to inspire others or to save lives when it comes to the animals, I think I'm going to do it. And it's been a great ride so far. And 13 and a half years later, I'm still
Whoa.
here. Yeah, I've been here for a while.
Oh my gosh, we're so lucky. They are, and we're so lucky to have you. I think like when I hear you on the radio, it's just like you find ways to connect to people if they're country radio fans or if they're classic rock fans. You talk about the animal and what their little strengths are and how adorable they are and why. And like the fundraisers that you put on are super cool. And you're like, usually there's booze involved, like you do the beer and the mission, right? And everyone's like,
we do macaroni and cheese. We
So
do music
fun.
events. Yeah, it's all about trying to reach multiple audiences. Fortunately, in our case, a lot of people have pets, or they've had a pet, or they've had that experience of having a pet, maybe a dog, cat, it could be a hamster, whatever. But being able to make then that connection with each people on that individual level, I think, is why I feel that I've been successful in promoting the organization and pushing those adoptions and getting people engaged and involved. Let it be financially, let it be by adopting, or even volunteering their time. That's always really important as well.
Oh, also the little incentives you have, like, oh, it's Black Cat Month, or it's Little Chihuahua time.
Yeah.
You do these really fun things that pique our interest.
Sometimes it's just sitting there and throwing a bunch of ideas up on a wall and seeing what sticks. And there's been a lot of trial and error. I mean, after the amount of time I've been at the shelters, I found out what works, what doesn't work, what people respond to. And a lot of these campaigns, they've been extremely successful. They through the years and being able to place just that sheer volume of animals into 11 new homes. Again, that's what I do, why I do what I do, and I feel that that's where I feel my impact is the greatest.
What are some of your favorite events? I know the Wiggle Waggle is like, your events are probably like either amazing to incredibly amazing. I did the Sails by the Sea event, and it was somebody, I think it was volunteering their time, and they were like an artist that etched names into glasses. And so I wasn't even old enough to drink, but I got this wine glass with my parents' names engraved, and whenever we use those, I think, oh my gosh, Woods, and I have an affinity for that like event. What's your like, oh, I loved this one so much?
That's a hard question. So the Wiggle Waggle's always been a little bit of my baby.
Yes.
Of course, I've been working with an amazing team of volunteers to put this event together. And fortunately for me, I've had this core group of volunteers that have worked with me on this event for a decade. I love it because it's so accessible. Basically, anybody that has a dog or anybody that wants a dog is more than welcome to participate in this event. If you have a cat and your cat likes dogs, hey, bring the cat out. Let's see what happens. We have birds that show up. It's basically pet lovers in the community. And there's so many touch points with this event, and people putting their dogs in ridiculous costumes and bringing them out. And
a theme.
So every year we had a theme. We've done a Jurassic Bark. We did this actually started in 2010, and it was 2010 one year, and maybe it started the year before, but it was definitely 2010. I was like, you know what, we got to do the Space Odyssey. And as soon as we did this, and I saw somebody show up dressed like the Obelisk from 2010: A Space Odyssey, and literally somebody just dressed up like a big giant black square that was walking around the park. That was definitely one of those moments where I was like, this might work. So we've done, Woodstock, which was really popular. We've done furry tales. We did a superhero theme one year. Well, when you think about it, I try to make that connection to back with the animals. So the superheroes was like, themed towards, how much our animals impact us in our daily lives. The happiness they bring us, the joy they bring us, they protect us, they listen to us. They, when you sit there and you can have that conversation with your cat, you know that you've made it. You know that you've made that connection with an animal. If a cat's going to tolerate you, a dog will follow anyone. But a cat, on the other hand, you've established a positive relationship there. But Jurassic Bark was one of them. That was really fun. My favorite part of that one was getting a bunch of those folks in those blow-up dinosaur costumes to come and help lead the walk. This year's theme is Marty Paws. So we're going to do a Marty Paws parade through downtown. We have a marching band that's going to lead us. It's going to be fun, but really what it does is it gives an opportunity for people to come out and spend a little bit of time with their dogs. You know, that animal that's been sitting there waiting for you to get home from work every day, an animal that's hopefully been, you know, getting you off the couch, maybe getting you active or getting you social, you know, or just being that companion that, you know, when you're feeling down and that animal comes up and can you know, really read that in you. You know, that's what this event celebrates. So I think it culminates everything that we try to do out of Woods.
Yeah.
So Wiggle Waggle is definitely one of my favorites, but honestly, all of our events are fantastic. And we have some fantastic third-party events that I just, you know, there's businesses in the community that really reach out and go above and beyond. My good friends at American General Media, we partner up on the Macaroni and Cheese Festival, which is just, you know, macaroni and cheese all day long. It's the best comfort food. You know, it's a really fun event out in Avila Beach. Speaking of Avila Beach, the resort out there, I'm very, very close friends with the managers out there. And so they're always partnering up with us on events. We do a fantastic event up at the Santa Margarita Barn that's reserved barrel tastings of whiskeys, bourbons, ports, and beers, but it's all set in like a 1920s theme. So they turn the whole barn into this time capsule, and everybody comes dressed up and, you know, dressed in like 1920s attire. And it's just being able to engage the community on so many different fronts, and being able to have all these activities and events where, you know, we could have, you know, the youngest child coming out and participating in Wiggle Waggle. We could have maybe some more of those affluent folks participating in our Tales event. That's our dinner, auction, gala event, you know, to these third-party community events. We have a great one we do out with Dockside 2 in Morro Bay, another one of my favorite ones. It's called Fast Eddie's Musical Review. We get all these amazing local musicians that come out. They donate all their tips for the day. They do a beer garden fundraiser out there for us. You know, sit out in Morro Bay, enjoy the wonderful weather, you know, eat some oysters, maybe drink some wine or have a beer or a soda or something, listen to some fantastic music, but in the process, you're raising money to help support the animals. You know, so it all kind of comes back around. And the fact that we have so many just amazing, amazing business partners and local folks in the community that are supporting our ongoing programs, I mean, that's why Woods is able to do what we do.
I've just popped into my head, you guys do wine for Paws, and I live in North County, and I'm like, oh my God, that was the best date. My husband and I popped around to the little spots in downtown Paso, and I was like, we're drinking red wine and raising money for the babies at Woods. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, Wine for Paws is typically the first or second weekend in April. And I mean, that's such a fantastic event. That event, what I love about it is the story behind it, how it started with one person walking into my office and saying, hey, I have this great idea.
Cool.
And that was my response. And then I said, all right, what are you going to do? You know, and she really, her name's Sarah. She's fantastic. She really just owned this event from the beginning, built the event, established a committee of volunteers to help her, and has evolved the Wine for Paws over the years. I think it now is close to 100 local participating wineries, all on the same weekend donate, you know, a portion or percentage of their tasting room fees to the shelter. It's just fantastic.
Impressive. Good job, Sarah. So for those of you that haven't been to Woods, when I was in high school, it was out towards the airport, and it was a really neat place to go. And now it's at this amazing location. It's out by Cuesta College. It's kind of like if you see Humane Society animal shelters in movies, they're like dank and dark and foreboding. And when you walk into Woods, it's like, oh my gosh, this like is really fun and happy, and it's full of happy doggies and happy cats and happy volunteers. And yeah, tell me about the environment at Woods.
I'd say that's a big struggle that I come across, you know, being in charge of marketing the organization and that image and the brand. It's always been a struggle because there is that impression, I think, that people have. It is perpetuated. I'd say there are some commercials you might see on television where that is the focus. In this industry, yes, there's abuse that happens. Fortunately, in our area, it's not very, you know, we're pretty lucky. But trying to get folks to understand that, you know, an animal shelter is not this sad, dark, dank place that, you know, is damp and there's scared animals and they're, you know, that's not Woods. That's nowhere near where our organization is. Where we strive to be or where we will ever be. I like to say we're state of the bark, and it's really cheesy. But fortunately, there was a trend that kind of happened in animal welfare a decade ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago even, where the housing of the animals themselves evolved from being in just a cage, for lack of a better term, to kennels, and I even go so far now as saying condos.
Yeah, they sleep better than humans sleep, and they've got their little beds and their little
more
toys.
attention, more goodies and treats,
Yes.
than a lot of, I think, animals get that actually do have homes. No, but when I mention that trend, the focus is the well-being of these animals. And when we talk about the well-being of the animals, one of the first things we have to address is stress. So what can we do to alleviate the stress of these animals? How can we create this stressful environment, but also, address that stress level and make it comfortable for the animals, because they're going to show better, right?
Yeah.
Their immune systems are going to be stronger. Stress is such a key factor in the lives of us as people and of the animals. So if we can address that issue, number one, we're going to see length of stay drop. Adoption rates, of course, are going to go through the roof. And every adoption that we have means that we're able to move more animals in.
Yeah.
So, being able to sit there and house an animal, that's not our goal. Our goal is to move these animals through, to get them in and out of that stressful environment as quickly as possible, the lowest amount of impact on these animals as possible. And the facility itself is built strategically to do that. Woods here was built and finished in April of 2006. It was more like August, I think, of 2005 is when it was actually finished. It was kind of phased. There was different areas that were, finished in April, and then our community room was finished in June, and all these things, our spay and neuter clinic, and so forth. But now, even like looking across the nation and what some other organizations have done since then, and what some of these other organizations are able to do since then, it's night and day, and it's constantly evolving too, to the point where we went through a major construction phase. I want to say it was 2 years ago, where we completely rebuilt our cattery environment.
Mm-hmm.
The cats that we were seeing coming in 10 years ago, 15 years ago, are completely different than the cats we're seeing coming now. So before, we were seeing a lot more of those maybe indoor, outdoor cats, or outdoor cats, cats that were in the neighborhood. They've kind of been around, they've seen things, whatever. We've seen an evolution from those cats who would be fine in a cattery environment with, say, 15 to 20 cats. There was a time I walked in, there was literally 100 cats in this environment. They were all having to live together. You can imagine 100 cats. We've evolved, though, to now we're seeing cats that are coming in that are more owner-surrendered cats, or cats that maybe they've only been indoor cats, condo cats, but they maybe haven't been out there experiencing the world as much. So if you put them in that environment where there's a bunch of other cats, their stress level is going to go through the roof, which then drops their immune system. Then we have to deal with managing, upper respiratory infections and things like that. So what we've been able to do is we've modified our housing. We've done at Woods for our cats. So now they have their own individual condos. There are some communal rooms, so cats that get along with other cats and like having buddies, hey, we can work on that too. My favorite component, though, so being able to now move to this condo kind of mentality, my favorite part of that is we're able now to take cats that might have feline leukemia, FELV, FIV, positive cats that we otherwise previously wouldn't be able to provide adequate care for and housing for. We can put them in their own condos.
Okay.
And now people that are coming in and saying, hey, I'm looking for an indoor-only cat, and I only want one cat. Hey, check out this cat. Well, what's FELV? And we'll kind of get into those details with them. But we're able to adopt these cats out. But before, it was a big struggle for us. So again, just kind of talking about how we've been able to evolve the philosophy of what we're doing out there, how we're able to evolve even that, some of those small details, how you're housing an animal has such a huge impact on the lives of these animals. And I would even translate it into the lives of the adopters.
Yeah, I feel like you guys probably aren't plopping the food in the metal bowl and walking away. You're like giving them affirmations and talking them up, like, who's a good boy? You are. Turn
down service,
yes.
The little biscuit on their beds. Yeah, absolutely.
I took my parents' dog, Teddy, to this little event you had at the holidays. You could get the pictures taken with Santa Claus. That's what my mom wanted for her Christmas gift. So I took their German Shepherd out there, and it was like so lovely. You guys had like drinks and cookies, and I was like, you could literally eat off the floor. You guys totally have state of the park facilities out there. I have heard of this really cool program where you guys teach kids how to be kind to animals. Do you want to talk about, like, do they come to you or do you come to them for teaching that?
Both. Yeah, so our humane education coordinator, Jamie, is absolutely amazing, phenomenal. She does such an incredible job. We have, that's definitely a two-sided program that we have, where yes, we do have programs where the kids come out, the youth, I won't have it just be kids. We do have programs for older, up to high school age, for example, where they can come out and get involved with what we're doing. It's not all just coming out and maybe petting a dog. It's about learning about animals and focusing on that empathy component and learning how to be kind to not just animals, but to the environment around us. How to get involved. And one of the coolest things you'll see is when you're out there, and Jamie has this great program where the kids come out and they read out loud to the animals. Now this is a program it's not new to Woods. We definitely didn't create this. It takes place in shelters across the nation. But it's been proven to show it helps with reading levels. It helps increase reading confidence for the kids. So there's that benefit. But it lowers the stress levels of the animals too. And it's so amazing because you'll go out into the shelter and you'll sit in the way our canine kennels are set up. They're big open rooms, kind of all the kennels kind of face inward. So you walk in and the dogs are gonna be barking, going crazy. All of them are kind of nuts sometimes. But then you get these kids out there, and the kids are sitting there, and they're sitting next to the kennels, and they're reading to the dogs. And even some of these dogs that might be a little more hyperactive, you see the dogs settle, and they'll just kind of lay there, and they just listen to these stories. And it doesn't matter what the kids are reading, Dr. Seuss or whatever, but the animals respond to it. And then you have that bond that's now being built between a child and an animal, and the potential there in my mind is so huge because we are creating, this new generation of people that are going to be responsible animal, owners. They're the ones that are going to be helping to reduce euthanasia by, increasing spay and neuter, understanding the importance of spay and neuter, understanding about being kind, understanding about, having empathy for other creatures on the planet and in our community. And I think that, our human education program is so great. So we have programs like that. We also have our summer camp program where the kids come out and they, for a week, they learn all these things about animals and how to interact with them. And it's an amazing program, but we also are going out to local elementary schools. And so Jamie's taking, usually a canine representative will go out with her and teaching kids. I think one of the most important things we can teach a child is how to stay bite free. Bite prevention is so huge because when you look at statistics, it's mostly children getting bit by dogs. And typically it's from situations that could have been prevented, how to approach a dog safely. I think a lot of adults need to know this too. But of course, it goes above and beyond staying bite free. The fact that we're able to reach out into elementary schools and make these presentations, to work with kids throughout the county too. So what Jamie does is she'll cater her programs to even, socioeconomic. She bases it kind of on where the schools are at. A child up in San Miguel is going to be dealing with different issues than a child in Arroyo Grande, for example. So being able to kind of cater the program and adjust the program to the needs of the children so that we can get these messages out. It's a telltale sign of an effective program. And I think, again, it comes down to being able to teach the kids how to be empathetic and how to, maybe address kind of that bully component too. And hopefully it'll have that impact. And what's great is, we'll come across those people that maybe they ran into Jamie a few years ago and she came to their school. And now we have the kid that maybe they went to our Critter Camp summer program. And now they're starting as a junior volunteer out at the shelter. Like you see this transition where they really get involved and they engage with what we're doing out of the shelter.
Yeah, she's really incredible. I've heard really good things about the Critter Camp, and I want to say I saw on your website that there was like a scholarship available if you wanted your kid to go and you didn't have it in your budget, that Woods would have some help for you available. That was really exciting.
I don't think, money should ever be a barrier for a child to participate or learn, especially about being kind to animals. So yeah, we'll do everything we can to make our programs as accessible as possible. Absolutely.
Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so I got my cat Chelsea from Woods when I was 20, about 20 years ago, and I got a kidney infection the week I brought her home. So she was just, getting used to me, and I had to go to the emergency room, and my dad took me and came home with IVs and a lot of pain, and she cuddled me and she helped to heal me, and she laid and purred next to me, and it was like, oh, and then my cat Jackson now, when I got pregnant, he like came to me and put his little head and like purred, and he like loved headbutting and like laying his cheek on my belly. I'm like, isn't that amazing? Do you hear about animals doing amazing kind and healing things for their humans?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what always frustrates me when we talk about, animal abuse and the way that some people treat animals. I feel like the animals are so much more in tune to us than we are to them. Sometimes I always like to think some of these animals that come to the shelter, we don't necessarily know what their history is, but would they even want to tell us, what they've gone through, kind of thing. And you see it in their eyes when they arrive. We get these transports when they come in, and there's this fear, there's this uncertainty, right? And sometimes there's a terror. You see it, and other times, there's that 20-yard stare where we've had this, maybe a dog that it's 4 years old, and for 4 years, it's only known shelter life. It's been transported from one shelter to the next, kind of thing. That's all it's known. So we see these animals come in, and then you see them go through our holding process where they're being, their medical needs are being taken care of. Our medical team, our veterinarian, and the medical staff, they're very compassionate people and gentle and kind, and sharing that with these animals. And then they're in with the animal caregivers who are bathing them and grooming them and working with the volunteers. And then they go on their walks and they're working on leash training and obedience. And, you see this evolution these animals go through. And then the point hits where you go and you look at them and their eyes are clear and you see that happiness. And it's almost like they're willing to give humanity another shot, I feel so fortunate because I get a first person, front row seat of watching this happen. Up until that point where, and I'm going to say but I'm going to talk about everybody at the shelter and in the industry in general. This is why we do what we do, because we see this happen. And then when you see maybe that family come in and that young child comes in and he's like, come look at this dog, or this cat, and you see that happen. And then you see that human animal bond, you see that spark take place, and then the animals leave with their new families. And man, we take ridiculous pictures a lot of times with every adoption, and you just see this look of relief sometimes in these animals' faces. Animals that have had to sit and just wait so patiently, right? And then when you see them finding that love, you see that connection that's being made. Talking about how they then affect emotional health, how they affect physical health. It's been scientifically proven that animals will help. That's why service animals, a lot of times they're able to go into hospitals. They're able to go into children's hospitals. I mean, the healing process. And again, they know. Sometimes they, like you were mentioning, the cat, they do those little, they put that little love pressure on you, but maybe it's reassuring to us as humans. Maybe it's definitely soothing in some way, shape, or form. But when you have that bond, and it doesn't even need to be like a physical ailment a lot of times. It could be just an emotional one.
Yeah, my family members and I have all been in dark places, and we're so lucky we have our fur babies to be unconditional, loving, bright spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're gifted healers. Little antidepressant in a little doggy cat body.
What's really neat too sometimes that I've seen as well is when you see an animal doing that with another animal too. So maybe somebody has an animal at home, a dog or cat, and then they come out and they adopt another one, and watching that bond happen. Our incredible operations director, Sue, she definitely loves to challenge herself with some adoptions. And, watching the animals then kind of is definitely a ragtag bunch that they help each other out. She had a little blind Chihuahua, for example, and her little blind Chihuahua and her big, it's like a husky mix, a big brother, little sister kind of situation. And then a broken pit bull, kind of thing came into the mix, and the dynamic changes. But the animals really do connect with one another as much as they connect with us, I think. And watching again that happen, we're so fortunate in the industry that I work in, to be able to play a small part in making that happen. Or I don't want to say making it happen, but definitely helping to facilitate that, creating that environment.
Oh, thank you for taking care of them. I'm happy they're so well taken care of. I wanted to ask you if in your career you've had any special thank you notes come your way, or if you've written any thank yous that were like really noteworthy.
Oh gosh, well, a lot of times the dogs and cats can't write, so. But I think for me, it's when we get those photos back from people that have adopted from us. Sometimes there are some animals that come through and they just have barriers to their adoption. We have an amazing behavior program out at the shelter where our trainers can work with them. Our veterinarian, Dr. Selena, she has a great philosophy right now, which is something that I keep kind of reattaching myself to lately, but medical needs of the animals that might be above and beyond what we normally can provide. But we're able to do it because people contribute financially to a special medical fund. But she's willing to treat animals because she knows that there's going to be somebody in the community that's going to come out and adopt this animal. And it could be a situation like, the animal's going to be on medication for the rest of its life, or, its recovery time is going to be, might be a little extensive, or whatever the issue might be. But being able to make then that decision in an animal sheltering world, knowing that, oh yeah, there's going to be somebody that's going to come out and take care of this animal.
Mm-hmm.
That directly translates into additional lives we're able to save every single year. So, I mean, as far as thank you letters go, I'm only doing this for the animal, number one. Being able to see some of those harder cases or those longer term residents go to those loving new homes, that's things enough, And I'm not really looking for that even recognition or that gratitude from them. My hope is that, I always say I would love to get to the point where we're obsolete, but I don't think that's ever going to be the case. My hope is that when we're able to, communicate with the next generation that comes up, or those people that are wanting to get involved with animal welfare. I don't like the term rescue. I think that, a lot of times people come in and they say, oh, we rescued an animal from woods. No, you didn't. But thank you for adopting. The animals are just fine. But when you look at animal welfare as a whole, the thanks that we get in the industry is seeing our communities embrace us. And it almost becomes validating in a way. And I think that's what pushes us forward. And to be able to say that we're able to kind of drive this industry, and it's constantly in flux. And we're always looking for ways to improve and ways to have our impact expand, ways to, reduce barriers to adoption, reduce barriers to service, focusing on lives saved. That's what it's all about. And that's the greatest thanks I think anybody could ever have.
Yeah, it's incredibly easy to adopt from Woods. You guys, they're good to go, and
they're spayed or neutered, they're vaccinated, they're microchipped.
Literally, just
they come with a month of free pet insurance.
Yeah,
just come out, just take them. We'll put them in a box for you.
Yeah. So people, of course, if they want to volunteer, they can come to you and pet the kitties and play fetch with the dogs, or they can write a check to you, but who writes checks to people electronic donate to, or if they don't want to give time and money just this moment and they want to help the animals at Woods, can you talk about how they can help via social media?
Absolutely. So, of course, we are always looking for help financially to support the programs. Donating in kind items is just as effective. We have one of the things that's really cool is we've set up in kind wish lists on, for example, Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
If you shop on Amazon, there's something called Amazon Smile, and you can when you go to Amazon Smile, and you can attach Woods to your Smile account so that every time you make a purchase, Amazon makes a contribution to us. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars has been raised over the years just through people shopping on Amazon, not even for us. Yeah. But what's cool is when you go on there, you can look at our wish lists, and our wish lists are by department. So maybe our foster program is in need of bottles and warming pads and things like that for all the little babies.
Bottles? I didn't know that was a thing.
Exactly. Our humane education department, maybe they need reading books for the reading program, or things that they can use when they're going out to the classrooms. our training, department. They might need, training tools or, items that they can be using to help with the dog training. Yeah, feline scratching posts. There's so many different ways that folks can get involved with what we're doing. Things that you might not necessarily think an animal shelter would need: toilet paper, paper towels, Windex, old towels, old blankets, light blankets. Not the thick heavy ones that are too hard to wash, but these are all things that we can use up there at the shelter. So when you go online to our website, woodshumane.org, you can find all that in-kind items that we can use. But yeah, you mentioned social media too. I always say if you can't adopt, maybe you're in a living situation where you can't have pets. Maybe like the rest of us, you're working 45 plus hours a week and you just don't have time to volunteer. And you're living in San Luis Obispo County or California in general, and you just don't have an excess in financial abilities. But you're on social media. Follow us, fan us on Facebook, and hit that like and share button. It's like a ripple effect, because we're going to put up a picture of a dog, or we're going to put up a picture of a cat that is looking for a loving home. Maybe it's going to be a video, a really cute video, and just hitting that share button is going to get it out to your friends and your family and people that, maybe you didn't know that, Uncle Frank was a huge cat lover and he really wants a cat. And this cat's looking for a home, and this cat's name is Frank, and they're, two peas in the pod, and they're going to be best buddies. You're not even probably going to know that you facilitated that adoption, but you can help. So yeah, hitting that share button is so vital. Even on the events and the fundraisers, that just helping us get the word out about what we're doing is extremely beneficial.
I can do that. That's doable. I love seeing you guys in my feed. Your little pet portraits with the little head tilts and everything, and just awesome.
Our volunteer photographers are phenomenal.
Yeah. Was there anything that I missed today that you wanted to bring up, or is there anything?
Well, the one thing that I do always try to mention is, one of our primary goals is spaying and neutering, reducing animal overpopulation in our community. Woods merged with what used to be North County Humane Society. We merged about 2 years ago, and we established Woods North County in that facility, and that's a feline. It's in Atascadero. It's a feline adoption center. Back in November, we opened up our low-cost spay and neuter clinic up on that property. And so it's been, the medical team has been firing on all cylinders ever since. And, doing community cats. In fact, we're doing the community cat spay day coming up in a couple days. But I think spaying and neutering our pets is one of the huge things that I'm always trying to press, always trying to get out into the community. I feel like I'm the local Bob Barker, but it's vital. Let's spay and neuter our pets. And folks can go to spayslowcounty.org for all the information on our low-cost clinics at Atascadero and in San Luis Obispo. Share the information, because maybe you have a pet that's altered, but maybe the neighbor that lives behind you doesn't. Or maybe you're in a situation, you live up in North County, and all of a sudden a mama cat shows up under your deck, and mama cat has a bunch of kittens. What do I do? How do I, you want to help these animals, what do we need to do? We have all the resources available for you to help out. So check out spayslowcounty.org for all that information about our low-cost spay and neuter clinics. We do low-cost vaccination clinics. If you're looking for or needing to get your animals' vaccinations updated, we can help with that. Low-cost microchipping to make sure that if your animals get displaced, they get returned to you as quickly and efficiently as possible. So yeah, definitely check out spayslowcounty.org for all of the information for our low-cost clinics. That's huge.
Yeah, microchipping happens, and the little chips are like teenier than a little grain of rice.
Absolutely.
So what is the website for Woods, and what is the handle on social media?
Woodshumane.org. That's where you're going to want to go. And then on social media, just look up Woods Humane Society.
Yeah.
At Woods Humane Society.
There's so much
We're on
fun
Instagram.
stuff going on.
If you, get tired of seeing what your friends are eating, or, how they're feeling, or what's going on maybe in the news, in the world, whatever, and you just need some fur therapy, then you're going to want to follow Woods. We try to get creative and playful with, whenever we're communicating in the community, because that's what these animals are. They want to play. They want to have a good time. They want some belly rubs. We're going to be putting those in your social media feeds all the time. Our Instagram, we're very interactive with our Instagram with folks. And then the same thing on Facebook. But again, there is an ulterior motive, and that's to get the information of the shelter and of these animals, give them a voice in the community, and get them out into the community as quickly as possible. But, who doesn't want to share, a short little video? I know everybody's busy, but maybe look at a little video of like puppies just playing. It'll be a puppy play day.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
My friend Kathy, her daughter is one of the kids that was reading to the animals.
Awesome.
And it's like, if the kid is trepidatious about reading aloud and the dog's not going to scold him, and I think it's just like a really easy, wonderful, wholesome thing. So I'm thrilled you guys are doing that.
It's so great, and it's so fun to watch. And kind of a funny story, I was back there trying to get a dog out to go promote it on the local television, and this little girl was reading to this dog, and she was not going to let me take that dog until she finished her book. And I was like, you know what? All right.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and you can find out information on how to volunteer, how to donate, and just information in general about the shelter, our programs, and of course, see all of our available animals at woodshumane.org. And that connects both of our adoption centers in Atascadero and San Luis Obispo.
Yeah. Okay. Just one more thing popped into my head. I went to your website because I was looking for fun ideas to do in our office that would be helpful to the community. And you have, like in your volunteer section, a resource guide, and it's like 40 pages long on things you can do to help animals. And it was like really detailed steps on how to make toys for the animals and like all this really cool stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really neat what you guys put together. So if any parents or any, schools are looking for fun activities to do, that is an awesome resource they have on their website in the volunteer tab.
Yeah, for youth groups, social groups, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, after school programs. We have so many activities that are great. A lot of them don't cost very much money either, and can make a huge impact in the animals. And a lot of those things are based on kind of enrichment, so it keeps their minds busy, and it keeps those animals, interacting and yeah. So check out all that information. It's available at woodshumane.org, along with all of our contact information. Reach us there, but you can also reach us directly through social media.
Yeah, collect your used toilet paper rolls, cut them up, make the little kitties happy. Doable, done. Next kindness action. Thank you so much. I really had so much fun meeting you and talking with you. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the invite. Yeah, this is great.
I adore you and I adore Woods. I hope you guys were educated and entertained today. And thanks for listening. Ta-ta.
Hi guys, thanks for listening to the Steve Kragenbrink interview. In addition to all the cool stuff he's talking about, I wanted to let you know that I've seen on their website that our friend KJ is doing cat yoga up in North County. So if you want to do something really unique and really fun and support the animals at Woods, go do some cat yoga. And then California Pizza Kitchen is having a night every week where they donate proceeds to Woods Humane Society. One coming up is Valentine's Day 2020. So if you want to take your love and go get a sexy cocktail and their pizzas, that'd be a super wonderful way to support Woods. And finally, the Wine for Paws is coming up this spring, and it's early April. So check them out on Facebook, see their website, get dialed in on that event, and maybe I'll see you out there because I'm totally going to participate this year. Have a great day. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.